Once upon a time, stories were in our blood. Televisions were fireplaces and radios were our elders sharing tales their elders shared with them. From stories of frogs turned to princes and men in magic mirrors, we learn lessons of compassion, empathy, and the importance of being good even when no one is watching. And while it may be debatable what each tale teaches, what isn't is the humanity conveyed in each tale. Join us as we'll be wrapping up Fantasy Month by discussing the impact two brothers had by collecting these tales and the influence Grimm's fairy tales had on modern imagination. Tonight on Dispatches from Outside the Box.
In the spaces, things exist. In the lines that form the network of your mind. Behind the retinas of imagination are the particles and peripherals that made you who you are. Turn off, shut your eyes, and listen to Dispatches from Outside the Box.
Oh, there we go. Guess I should drop the overlay.
Ta-da.
Oh, there we are. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dispatches from Outside the Box. I'm C Michael Lanning, independent artist and mad scribbler. Now, before we begin and meet the rest of the panel, I'd like to encourage you to like, subscribe, and share. And make sure, hit that notification bell, let you know when we go live, so you can be a part of the chat when the chat is live. With that, let's meet the panel that's going to be chatting tonight. Randy, introduce yourself.
Am I chatting? I guess. Hey, everybody, I'm Randy Zimmerman. I'm a longtime alternative and independent comics producer. I've been doing this, doing comics for decades, everything in comics that you can imagine. Ran conventions for 10 years, retailed for over 10 years, did my own newspaper for a good decade or longer. And now I'm podcasting and doing my own comics. Very happy to be here. Thanks.
All right. And Nita?
My name is Nita Lanning. I'm a writer, vlogger, blogger from Southeast Louisiana. I am CEO and executive producer of the Ragin Broadcast Network.
Wow. All right. Well, next, Jared.
Hi, I'm Jared, and I'm an inspiring storyteller / comic artist. Want to be maybe one day. Bunch of stuff going on, and I'm a big nerd enthusiast. Love learning things. Love pop culture and the like. So hopefully, I learned something today.
Hopefully. Although I'd like to make the disclaimer that if you do learn something here, please double check to make sure it's right. We are not educators. Mitch, with that.
Yes. Hi, I'm Mitch Rogers. I've been a independent writer and artist of comic books since 2008. My primary book is The Boger from Celtic Cross Studios, my own imprint.
All right, excellent. All right, so today we're talking about something that's familiar with pretty much everyone. Is Grimm's fairy tales. And if you don't know, Grimm's were two brothers. I'm trying to pull up a picture of them right now. Hold on. That they were actually linguists, I believe. They had studied at first to be lawyers, and then they kind of got picked up by a prince, of all things. But
they get picked up, it might as well be a prince.
It's the first fairy tale.
Well, yeah, well. If you look at their history, their father was I don't know if he was a barrister or a lawyer, and he died when they were about 11 years old. They came from a huge family. I want to say there was 9 of them, but I'm not positive about that. Again, I'm not an educator, and so they're linguists. They ended up getting picked up by this prince, educated and everything. So in that, believe it or not, their life's work has nothing to do with Grimm's fairy tales. They actually collected those books. They actually lived off of that book. But they were librarians, for and foremost. In fact, Jacob, which I'm assuming is the one sitting down, actually
looks like a Jacob.
Yeah, Jacob was writing a German dictionary that he actually didn't get to finish. I think it was finally finished in like 1937, and considering he started in the early 1800s, but that's got to tell you something. But they were very close. So close that Willem married, Jacob didn't, and they still live together, and they are buried to this day next to each other. So
not weird.
No, not at all. One of them was
man.
They were a throuple.
Right,
I think
stories
Jacob was
together,
just involved in
out
his
together.
work. Outhouse together, whatever. Well, they went through like several kings. I think the first king that they had, that the one that made them librarians to begin with, was actually Napoleon Bonaparte's brother. They were during the French occupation, and then Bonaparte had that Waterloo thing happening, and that all fell apart.
As one does.
Right. So, but they're fairy tale. Those collections have been folklore from all over. Golly, I can't remember the name of the countries at that point in time, but from all over.
Russia was one of them, I know.
Russia, yeah.
Austria.
So maybe some France. Of course, obviously France, right? Yeah. Let's say so. So what do you think is the most influential fairy tale that stands out when you hear Grimm's fairy tale? We'll start with on the bottom right, Mitch.
The most influential. I'm not sure if it was actually a Grimm's fairy tale, but Cinderella probably, because that has like all the the Hallmark tropes, the evil step parent, the evil step siblings. Relatively she's poor. Then the prince comes along and saves her. There's magic somewhere. It has all the tropes of classic fairy tales, I guess. So,
they had that. Yeah, and I do believe it wasn't Grimm's, but in fact, a lot of stuff is contributed to them that's really not, which is crazy. So it kind of, unless you have the actual book, it's kind of hard to really decide. But do you remember that Drew Barrymore movie that came out years ago about Cinderella? And it was kind of like a real retelling. Yeah, Ever After. And that's what they kind of opened it up with, that she was talking to the two brothers at the very beginning. Saying,
well, that's what they did. They got these stories. A lot of times they're accredited to those stories. They didn't actually write them. They just got stories handed down by generation after generation. So.
Aschenputtel was Cinderella for Grimm's.
What?
It's Achenputtel, and that is the Grimm's version of Cinderella and the horrific things that came of the stepsisters.
Right. They were horrific.
Like, didn't they? Well, I know they had their toes cut off to try to fit the shoes, right? But that wasn't a punishment, really, was it?
No. What I remember was that they tried the shoes on first; they didn't fit. So the mother kind of took them to the back room and had them chop their feet in
Yeah,
half so they
yeah.
could fit in the slipper.
Just greased them up a bit; they'll fit now.
Yeah, the prince isn't going to notice half a foot bleeding all over the place when he's putting his shoe on.
Well, that's normal back then.
It might have been. Don't know that. How about you, Jared? What stands out to you when you think of fairy tales or Grimm's fairy tale?
Hansel and Gretel,
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
classic, man.
Stay out of
Which-
candy houses and witches' ovens, kids.
Yeah,
That's what that
you
was.
know, and they weren't really for children, other than maybe to scare them to not to do certain things, like go out into the woods, But yeah, that's actually one of the few that they actually try to make horrified in a way in Hollywood, unless it's an action flick like the Jeremy Renner version.
I just watched it
But
the other day. I'm sorry.
yeah. No,
I
you're
did a
fine.
pretty good horror one a few years ago. I forgot who did it, but it was pretty good. A horror one.
It's the one with Alice Krieg as the witch.
Yeah. It was Gretel and Hansel instead of
Yes.
Hansel and Gretel.
Yes.
Right, because it had to be different.
Yeah.
She's just a great witchy person anyway. If you're gonna
Had
cast
the girl
a witch,
from
get her.
yeah. Oh yeah. Had the girl from It as Gretel. Got her name.
Oh, really?
the
The,
young version of
Yeah.
Okay, Beverly, right?
Beverly.
Beverly. Yeah.
All right. And look, I just watched the Jeremy Renner one. It's fun. I'm sorry, it's ridiculous. I like the guns in Middle East.
I like Gemma Arterton,
I do
Which
too.
one was that?
Gretel.
Oh, is that right? I don't.
Gemma Arterton. Yeah,
What has
she's
she been
British.
in?
She's Jeremy. Everything.
Clash of the
Clash of
Titans.
the Titans. Oh shoot, so much stuff. Like there's one right now. Oh, the King's Man that just came out. She's been in a bunch of stuff. British actress.
Yeah.
I like her.
Okay. All right, Nita.
Rumpelstiltskin.
Think so?
Oh yeah. Well, for me anyway, like for personal reasons. One, because I got a standing ovation in high school for portraying Rumpelstiltskin, and because I was short. And and because in the Grimm's fairy tale, that motherfucker rips himself in half. How brutal is that?
Did you do that?
Himself in half.
Is that how you got the gig?
No, I just ripped my clothes and screamed. It was great.
Well, but I feel like Rumpelstiltskin got a raw deal. I really do. If you look at that story, I mean, he did what he said he was going to do. He spun the straw in the gold. Not only that, when it came down to
cheated
take
to
her
get his
child-
name.
well, look, when it came down to getting the child that he was owed because he did the work, damn it, he put it in. He still felt
he
sorry
didn't.
enough for her. He still felt sorry enough for her. Yeah, well, not that work, but he still felt sorry enough for her to say, okay, look, I'll give you a reprieve if you can guess my name, whatever the case is. But we always kind of vilify him to such a degree now. It's like, yeah, but that freaking Miller, man, sitting there lying on his daughter like that.
Right?
Let's face, who's the real villain of that story?
Yeah.
And never mind the daughter who was willing to give up her child. Like, come on, man.
Well,
A deal is a deal.
Rumpelstiltskin was the hero of the story, and he died, and that's just real life. Sometimes the good guy loses.
Critical Blast asked a
And you're
question I want to
welcome.
get to after Randy. But yeah, hold on, RJ. Well, no, but but the thing was with her, and I'll give her a little bit of a leeway here too, because he told her, if you become queen, then
Right.
you can give me your firstborn. And so she's like that's gonna happen, right? Despite the fact that the guy just said, if you spun it into gold, I'll marry you. But whatever. And so she's like, that's so far from happening. Sure, whatever. That's never gonna happen. And
I
it
thought he was
happened.
going to kill her.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. I could be remembering a different story though. But
There's so many
I
different
think
versions.
it was he was
Yeah.
going to make her queen or kill her, depending on the outcome of the ability to spin straw into gold in the original.
Slave labor.
Slave
Critical
labor.
blast. Slave labor.
Yeah.
Slave labor.
I figured he was going to eat it.
He just wanted somebody to reach the top shelf.
Actually, he makes a statement. She's like, "Look,
Good
now I've got
protein.
all this gold, I've got all these jewels, and I've got all this stuff. I can give you now. I can
Right.
give you all these things if you take that instead of the child."
And
But
still
he
wanted
said
to.
there was more prized as something living, is what he said. So I don't think he was going to eat it.
So he
I
had
think
even
he's
higher
gonna
standards
raise
and
the child.
morals than her and her father. See, short end of
And
the
had a
stick.
good laugh towards the end. What's my name?
Well, they were never supposed to guess it, and then the guy just happens upon it in the woods. Let's say,
But
well,
actually, in the original, it was her. Oh,
No?
my bad.
that's what I
Yeah,
read. That's what I
yeah.
read.
She snuck out of the palace and stumbled across a cabin in the woods, and he was dancing around the fire, singing about his own name.
It's probably been changed so
We all
many
do
times.
it.
Because when I read, there was a servant that was going out and finding names all day and coming back. But
So the moral of the story is, don't dance around a fire
Thank
shouting
you.
your own name.
thank you. Not if you want people to not guess it.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to eat children.
Oh my God, I'm sharing that.
I think that is
Who's your
historically
daddy? Yeah.
correct.
That's
Maybe so.
exactly
So.
where that came from. RJ
On
Facts.
Wikipedia.
Oh no, come on. Come on, Taco. I'm gonna get to you in just a second.
So,
Zim,
Patrick,
what do you think is the most influential fairy tale? Not your favorite, because I keep getting these favorites.
Favorites, most influential. I don't know. I mean, they were all produced in order to teach kids ethics and morals, but or at least that's the story.
the fear of consequence.
Some of them,
yeah,
not all
well,
of them.
just like Heaven and Hell, But probably Red Riding Hood would be the most famous
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
hey, kids,
Classic.
don't talk to wolves and get to know your grandma as best as you can.
His
And
Your
grandma's
local
never that
woodsman, knowing
story.
your local woodsman could come in handy.
And if she
Right?
doesn't look the same, that's probably something. Okay, so Moscow says the wolf and the goat children, which has been plunged into a million different cartoons over the years
I think he was talking about Cinderella.
that are
Either
Maybe
that or
so.
Little Red Riding Hood. Yeah.
Little Red Riding Hood. The wolf and the goat children. I'm not familiar with that one. I don't remember that one. Personally, what I have noticed though, the one that I kept coming across more than anything was Snow White.
Yeah.
There have been so many different versions of Snow White that I could find those more than anything. The
Right.
pre-bowdlerized ones are great and creepy. Snow White, Rose Red will kill your lover dead. Said a bear. What were they doing with that bear?
Really? A lot of talking animals in Grimm's fairy tales.
Oh,
And
yeah,
no one's
yeah.
frightened, which is the weird thing. You run across an
'Cause
animal
they
that's
talk.
talking.
And like,
Can't be
it was
afraid of an
nothing-
animal that talks.
Yeah.
They're
So,
clever.
what do you think are the chances that obviously there's folk tales, but what do you think are the chances that some of these were true stories that were just elaborated upon?
Well, I'm sure the Hansel and Gretel is probably true in some form. I'm sure there was a old lady in the woods that scared the shit out of children. Whether she actually cooked them and ate them or had a candy house is debatable. I don't think that would hold up in the woods.
Depending on the type of
Of course,
candy.
Germany does get cold, so you never know.
Seems like it would be maybe made of chocolate. So
Oh,
Wolfie
look at the chocolate.
Oh yeah, I remember this story.
ate 7 goat kids, falls asleep. Mama goat finds the wolf, cuts him open, then sews him back up with 7 rocks in his belly and dumps him in a
Dumps him
well.
in a
I do
well.
remember this.
But the
That's
mother
overkill.
warned the children before she left. She's like, "Do not open the door, because the wolf will come and gobble you up, and pretending to be your mother." And of course, they didn't listen, so that's why it happened. But they were saved. So.
Damn wolf family.
Wolves are
Well,
just
but-
trying to live.
They get the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes some of these fairy tales you read them and you really, like I said, it's because like Rumpelstiltskin. It's like it just doesn't seem fair to even some of the wolf people, the other wolves, because there was one of a dog it was like a shepherd dog made a deal with a wolf. Basically, the wolf went to go take the dog was old. They're ready to get rid of the dog. That happens a lot in Grimm's fairy tales. The dog's
And
old. We're going to get rid of it.
people
Well,
getting rid of
Hey.
old dogs.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Don't
You
hear
say
that.
that.
Don't hear that. They didn't
Hey,
do that.
what about the babies we're trying to give away to freaking imps in the woods? But yeah, but so anyway, the wolf makes a deal with the sheepdog and says, "Look, I'm gonna kidnap the baby. You come and you rescue the baby, and then they'll keep you." And the wolf did what and you know what? I'm gonna need a favor later on, and so the wolf goes, kidnaps the baby. Like the wolf is supposed to do. He's actually living up to his end of the bargain, right? So you're like, okay, well now the wolf's going to eat the baby, right? Because he's a wolf. Wrong. The dog goes, saves the baby. The wolf's like, hey, yep, here you go. So the dog's a big hero. Well, now the wolf wants his comeuppance. Well, what does he want? He wants the fattest lamb. And then the dog's like, well, no, I'm back in good graces with these guys. Okay, I can't do that. He's like, no, just turn around. Just don't look. And I'll grab the lamb. So he ends up. So the wolf goes to grab the lamb, and the dog alerts, like the
Like they do.
backstabber he is. Yeah, went and alerted to the owner, and they chased the wolf away. And the wolf's like, "All right, that's it. 3:00 in the courtyard, you and me." That's how this went down. And so,
Tale as old as time.
right. So no, but not only this, the wolf goes and gets his buddy, the wild boar. So the dog's like, crap, now I got to go meet and fight the wolf in the court or in the woods later on. So he comes across this three-legged cat, like you do, three-legged cat.
That's a neighbor.
Yeah. So
Happens more than you think.
he gets the three-legged cat, and he's taking the three-legged cat into the woods, and they see the cat and the dog from far away. And the boar starts freaking out because the cat has his tail straight up and he's limping. And it's like, oh no, the cat's got a sword and he's picking up rocks to throw it. So both the wolf and the
You see a
wild boar.
cat come towards me with a sword, I'm gonna freak out too, man. What the fuck's going on right now?
So the wild boar and the wolf like hightail it up a tree. And basically, at the end of this, the dog's all like, "Hey, look, why don't you come down? You'll be my best friend from now on, and we'll call it even." And the wolf's like, "Okay," and then they go off and they're best friends. But it's like, you know what? That wolf got shafted. Let's be honest. So, what kind of lesson is this teaching? In all honesty, what lesson are we learning from this?
Hey, kids, whenever you go into the woods, make sure you bring a stiff tail.
Whoa.
It's wisdom, folks. Wisdom.
Deep from the ages. Wisdom from the ages.
I like what RJ said. The fourth little pig built his house out of wolf skulls. It wasn't too sturdy, but it's in a message.
Absolutely.
That's a message.
Well, speaking of that,
That'll
talking
teach
to Snow White, but what was interesting about reading Snow White was when she went into the dwarf's cabin.
Orgy house.
The stiff tail was the last story. Anyway. So she's trying their chairs. This one was too big. This one was too small. This one was just right.
That's Goldilocks and the Three Bears.
Is that the hamster?
That was the hamster, yeah.
No, but it's not. It's Snow White. And then she tries one bed. It wasn't comfortable enough. She gets in another bed. And then the dwarves come in and they go, hey, somebody's been eating our porridge. Somebody's been sitting in our chair. Somebody's been sleeping in our bed. And then they find
What
her.
a
And she's,
bitch.
oh, but look at this. She's so gorgeous. They
And then
decide
Goldilocks comes and does it too.
Only in
but
the
that's what
Bears
I'm
house.
saying. I wonder. I'm curious if maybe that portion of the story got broke off.
Yeah. There are a lot of fairy tales that are like bedtime stories and shit that are torn apart and changed, and that's one that's hybridized and
Word of mouth has a tendency to do that.
yeah.
Well,
Telephoning.
Jack and the Beanstalk originally was like one part of a long of a long story. Like it was the origin of Jack the Giant Killer. Who had
Yeah.
multiple stories that happened after that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
But so what do you think you see? What kind of influences do you see nowadays in stories? Are we still carrying that on now in modern storytelling?
The poor hero that comes up from nothing. Yeah. It's just like all mythology in general. It evolves into, you have basic tropes that you have for stories that you end up being used over and over again.
I think if some of them were still told the way they were back then, this generation coming up way behind us wouldn't be little bitches.
Yeah.
Well, the question is,
No more snowflakes.
They said that these weren't for children.
Oh, actually, they were. The first intention, it was actually children. What was it? Children's stories, and it was a German name, but it translated into children's and household tales.
Well, here it says originally Grimm's fairy tales were not meant for children. The stories routinely included sex, violence, incest, copious footnotes, and worse, they didn't even have illustrations. Initially aimed at adults, the early editions.
Maybe why they've made them change the name by the second print.
Yeah, like nursery and household tales contain remarkably dark elements in his original version. For example, Rapunzel gets pregnant by the prince after a casual fling.
I actually owned that store, a bound version of that one that was a single, and she noticed her belly was swelling.
Yep.
So yeah,
and a lot of retelling. They became popular with children. So as a lesson,
they had to tone it down because they knew the moms would get mad. Yeah.
Okay, so then if this wasn't
million moms in 1814,
we're gonna burn these books.
Yep.
Take them to the stake, bitches.
How dare you? That's the start of the burning witches at the stake. Yeah.
More palatable.
We'll burn you and these books.
Okay, well then if that's the case, then they weren't cautionary tales. They weren't lessons, right?
Not at first.
Or maybe they were.
Dun, dun, dun.
Wink.
They could have been bent over time into cautionary tales and morals. Because that could happen, I guess. Like they started off with sex, violence, and murder. Then over time, it's like, you know what? Let's kind of twist this and change the ending to, tell a moral instead of just sex and violence.
Stories are morality plays anyway, right? Good versus evil.
Right, but it's kind of weird how they trickled down to where nowadays a fairy tale is the happily ever after, and it's like that's not reality. Like I miss the dark. My kids get the dark
mermaid
stories.
dies. Sleeping Beauty was awakened when her newborn.
Okay, what are y'all reading? Because that's not what I read. And the Little Mermaid
torn from her thumb. What?
Yeah,
that was. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Get milk from a thumb.
Because the story that I read, as far as Grimm's fairy tales was concerned, concerning Sleeping Beauty, the only thing that was different was a fish. Granted, the queen.
That's the Hans Christian Andersen versions over there.
Well, the Little Mermaid is. The Little Mermaid's not Grimm. That's Hans.
Yeah.
Hans.
Yeah. Hans Christian Andersen.
Yeah, the original. I can't remember.
Blasted that dude.
Yeah, they did.
Times.
I can't remember what version it is, but there is a version where the prince falls in love with her, and instead of kissing her, he has sex with her, and
he banged her.
Yeah, and she even goes through the 9-month pregnancy asleep, because that makes sense, and then has the baby, and he's sucking her thumb or something, and that wakes her up, which again makes sense. Yeah.
So really, almost to really get the core of what these stories are, you'd almost have to go back to the original German.
Original.
Yeah.
I wonder when they started to change.
Like early on, like even back then, it was like the first print was 1812, and by the 7th edition, which was 1857, there were already dramatic changes and new stories.
That's damn. Damn pilgrims. That's what
Every revisionist had to, put their own personal mark on it.
I'll be curious to go back and see if there are any original stories, and they're not all bastardized.
Well, the question comes in: what did they decide to leave out and put in too, for that matter? Because they're just reworking it while they're putting it in, which is interesting because they're not. It's not so much that they were interested in folklore; they had to be interested in the language that was being spoken
Because they were linguists.
to convey it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder what made, surely this isn't all the stories that they've heard. From what I read, the Brothers Grimm did not know any stories, so that kind of deflates anything about them. It's like, well, that's sad.
If they were linguists, they were studying different languages. They were picking up different fairy tales and folk tales as they went along. So yeah, they probably bound together whatever they wanted until they had a what they consider to be a complete tale, and then wrote it down. So
Probably mixed a couple up.
exactly.
Yeah, no, that's true. The stories weren't all downers. We kind of have that idea that it was all just depressing. But there is a story about the four musicians, which is like a donkey, a dog, a cat, and a rooster. And they're
Walk
basically
into a bar.
There we go. One of the greatest stories of all time.
well, what gets it is they all they're basically they're all worn out of their use. They're not useful anymore. The donkey leaves because he knows he's about to get whacked, right? So he goes down the road, sees the dog, like the dog. Hey, I heard they have musicians in this up to this town somewhere. We could go be singers or whatever, because you have a nice voice. Same thing with the cat, and same thing with the rooster. And somehow they end up in a house, and a burglar comes in.
Drunken melee.
Yeah.
How is that not a Disney movie set in New Orleans in the 40s with jazz music? How is that not a Disney movie yet?
That's because they take the wrong ones to make it.
Yeah.
They decided to do one with a frog instead.
Well, and what gets me about the Frog Prince is, how he actually got changed? It wasn't a kiss. He got thrown upside the wall.
Oh,
I mean, I would change any of us.
Yeah.
I think a lot of these kind of show, really what I see mostly is the point of keeping your word. It seems to be more of anything that I see out of
well, there's a lot of
out of
different
these
morality tales you can pull out of those stories, about talking to strangers or staying out of the woods, listening to your parents.
If you find a pretty girl asleep alone, don't sleep with her.
Don't take apples from strangers.
Jesus, RJ, you traumatizing me, bro.
Don't finger your prick, or don't prick your finger.
Yeah, don't finger a prick either. That's painful.
Well, okay.
Most guys don't like that, Randy.
But what I mean is, though, if you look at it, everybody seems to make some kind of a deal. You had the Rumpelstiltskin deal. You had
And that also, I'm sure, goes back to the old days of dealing with the devil, making deals with the devil, which is, goes back in the Bible all the way to Eve and the serpent.
Could have been wooden clogs.
first slippers instead of glass ones. The French handwriting misinterpreted foray as foray. Yeah, I've heard of that before. I've heard that before. But yeah, and basically, so what ends up happening with these the dog, the donkey, the cat, and the rooster is somebody breaks in, they all accidentally scared away. Even the rooster's crowing at the beginning, and the burglar goes and tells somebody, "Oh, they got a whole 4 men jumped me," and then they have the devil up on the roof calling, "Throw him up here! Throw him up here!" And just basically their usefulness was basically scaring away burglars accidentally, so they ended up just watching over this house. So I mean, that's a pretty positive story if you want to look at it that way. They didn't really, but their usefulness, they found use for themselves.
Security guards.
Hey, I just found a Grimm's. I didn't even know was a Grimm's, but I liked. Okay, so remember the Jim Henson, the storyteller?
I love that show.
Me too, with John Hurt, and he would tell
John Hurt,
and he would tell the stories. But remember the one, Fear Not? That was actually a Grimm's too. That was the story of the youth who went forth to learn what fear was. Because it's a long
I
ass
can't
time.
remember that one. Yeah,
But-
you have to remember it.
Well, even all those stories though were stories that were picked up from different regions. They even made that statement. Like I think when it says "fear not," it said a story from like the Alps or something like that. So it probably all came from the same, the same idea. There's a lot of things that continue to show, themselves over and over again.
Yeah, Fear Not was the one, because Mitch said he didn't remember that one. It's the one with the dim-witted son who didn't know what fear was, and he tried like all kinds of things, jousting with demons and all kinds of things. It wasn't until he fell in love and thought that he was going to lose the woman he loved that he learned what fear was.
Is that the one where he's like playing poker with demons?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
No, wait, no,
it's not. That's the
not it.
soldier.
That's the soldier.
This one is about the second episode out of that series. He had a kind of an old man that was kind of jittery. That was oh yo don't he kind of talked like that, and he had him stay at a house. It was like it was a castle and it was haunted, and basically the ghost came out and played like bowling pins with its head. Kind of like like typical
Like
Jim
you do.
Henson stuff.
I have to rewatch that. It's on Amazon. So.
Huh?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
we'll be getting into that in a future one. Hopefully, I'm actually reading a biography about Jim Henson right now.
Oh, really? Is it good?
No, it's really not.
It's really not.
very bad.
What's the matter
But
with
the
it?
book or
It's a
his
very-
biography?
It's a dense book. It's just a dense book.
You mean very dry or what? Probably not a whole lot happening other than him putting a hand in a sock.
Agreed.
Look, I don't want to get into too much because we'll talk about it. Because
No wonder Kermit was always happy.
Right, that's true. That's true. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to. Drink. I was just I had to go grab my copy.
Nah.
Yeah, I got one somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Barnes and Noble version.
It's like that big popular book everybody has a copy of, Dracula. So,
I don't think I have a copy of
We
Dracula.
don't have a copy of Dracula. We used to.
yeah, it's up
There
somewhere.
goes that.
Yeah, right. Y'all are no fun. Absolutely no fun. So do
We
you,
got
so
Lovecraft
if,
stories.
There's a lot of tales here, though. Tom Thumb.
Yeah,
Part
but
of
but some of them are just like, holy crap. Were they really trying to like? Because they were, everybody wants to talk about the morals and consequences and whatever. But there are some that are just like, what the fuck kind of mushrooms did they find in the woods?
A
Like-
lot of them.
Like
Had some
seriously,
good ones growing back then.
the mouse, the bird, and the sausage. All right, the sausage was Cook in the
We
beginning
hope.
of that story. Like, how in the what kind of what were you on?
that definitely was a German. Maybe
Wouldn't that be Wiener Schnitzel then?
maybe
Wiener
it's
Schnitzel?
Austria, maybe.
A bratwurst.
Oh, I like the broth.
RJ's killing me tonight.
But what is considered? Yeah,
No. Underneath that, Jim, what are you doing with that sock? Puppets, Mom. Oh,
I swear it's
And the
I'm just
Empire
doing some
was born.
stories. We're making stories, Mom. That's all. It's nothing weird.
I don't see Snow White listed here, or Cinderella as far as that goes.
Cinderella would have been under a different name. Snow White.
Hands and
Sleeping
Locket,
Sleeping
Hansel and
Beauty
Gretel,
was Briar Rose.
Mhm.
Queen Bee.
Snow White. No. That's why I say you can't be too sure. But so can we still look at these and still draw from these today? Or are they old hat
yeah.
now?
We can still draw
Well,
from
I
them.
mean,
Oh, draw
that's
from
why we
anything,
get new
really.
iterations every now and then. You can take the concept and roll with it, make it your own. But
Yeah. There's a comic book series, I think last year or the year before, that took a lot of those old fairy tales but made them like Depression era gangster stories.
What?
That would be
I forgot
Seems
what
like
it was
a
called. It was like
sketch film.
something Goose.
Oh my gosh! I need this in my life.
I don't know. It seems so that they would have to definitely change it around to.
Yeah, they did. Like, I remember one.
It's called Schneewitchen.
Was it Little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet? She was a cop that was investigating a serial killer called the Spider, and he kidnapped her. He put like some drug in her that knocked her out but kept her conscious, or paralyzed her but kept her conscious, and he put her under the floorboards. And like, until she was rescued, she had spiders crawling all over her, and
That is some creepy, roofy shit.
yeah, I can't remember the name of it.
Oh my gosh. Well, you have to find that because I really want to know.
So was Mother Goose made for kids? For goodness sakes! I mean, right? Mother Goose is all right.
I think Mother Goose and Hans Christian Andersen both come out of the same basic idea. It's Grimm's fairy tales.
Yeah.
They were morality tales that came down through the generations. I don't know about Hans, though. He might have created some of that stuff up on his own.
Yeah, Jared says Schneewitchen was the Snow White story's name,
Schneewitchen.
which I think is.
There it is. I found it.
Yeah, that's what Nita tried to pronounce earlier.
Yeah, I can't.
Aschenputtel.
Aschenputtel.
I don't have that in this
I feel
book.
dirty now. I feel like
I don't.
Schneewitchen.
German's just.
You got to be German to say it
say
right.
it.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, like my translations sound perverted.
The book that I was thinking of is called Tales of Mother F. Goose by Aftershock. There, I'll put.
Good on them, I guess. All this great stuff coming out that hardly nobody knows from these independent publishers, It's probably a fucking awesome series.
Yeah, the few I picked up were my local shop didn't. It wasn't one of those titles that they were able to get consistently. So I got an issue here, an issue there, but they were pretty good. I put a link to one of the reviews of it in the private chat, just so you know what it is.
Comicbook.com.
Yeah.
This looks really cool.
Aftershock, that was one of Pruitt's, the Pruitt Boys companies, wasn't it?
I think so.
Peter Pumpkin Eater.
I think we're kind of bleeding over to something else now, right? That's not really.
I think we're
Yes,
doing
Grimm.
fairy tales in general because a lot of these are Grimm,
Yeah.
Grimm brothers. It's hard to separate them after a while. Your Hans Christian Andersen stories, your Mother Goose, your Grimm's fairy tales.
Well, they all come from that folklore sense.
Origination, yeah.
So yeah. Well, it's just like Little Mermaid gets lumped in there, but Little Mermaid's not. It was Hans Christian Andersen, so was the Snow Queen, and then it was
Ugly Duckling was Andersen.
Ugly Duckling, yeah.
What about the brave little toaster? Who did that?
That was also a Hans Christian Andersen.
I doubt that was Grimm. Yeah.
Except instead of an electronic toaster, it was a drunk guy that toasted whoever came by. That's what it was.
Toaster Whitson. German people are going to hate me. So
Hans my Hedgehog.
That one was that one was in Storyteller.
Yeah, that was in Storyteller. That's also Grimm's. Wow, okay.
Are you sure?
Well, as cheesy as it was, did any of you guys see the ABC show about a lot of this crap? What was it called?
Once Upon a Time.
Once Upon a Time.
Did for like the first 2 seasons, it was great, and then it just kind of.
I thought it was garbage.
I liked it. I really did.
I like the comic book that it's based on, called Fables.
Is it based on that for real? I was going to say I wouldn't doubt it. Fox bastardized Lucifer.
Okay, so
there were a lot of amazing similarities.
Yeah.
So so I have a question. So did you just hate the whole thing, or did you like the first season, or what? Because you come out the box that garbage. So
it's cool that people like it because I'm not going to judge if people like stuff because that's what they like. But personally, I didn't care for it. Because I like Supernatural. Not many people like Supernatural, but I like
I haven't met anybody that dislikes Supernatural yet, Jared. So kind of find something else too.
It's okay. It's not bad.
I don't hate it.
Well,
I
see-
sat through a number
No,
of
I don't.
episodes because the wife liked
Randy
it.
likes Babylon 5, and I tried to. I watched 2 episodes, and I didn't like it.
But see,
You
this
watched
is
them
Randy,
again.
I
out
did
of
my
order,
homework.
too.
But this is again you saying you don't like something and everybody else likes.
Did you actually sat and
But
watched
no.
the first 2 episodes?
I did the same
Okay.
night.
All right. Didn't like it, huh?
No, and I know some things take the first season to get used
You're
to.
not
it, but
alone. You're not alone. Yeah, that's how Once Upon a Time was getting back on fairy tales. Like I didn't like the first couple of episodes, but after that I started to like it for a couple
I
of
like the
seasons,
premise.
and then it went to crap.
I
The
like the
first
premise.
season was pretty
The
good,
first
but I
season.
stopped watching it in the second because it just frayed apart. It didn't
Well,
have-
they messed it up by giving everybody their
Obscurity.
memories back.
yeah.
Yeah,
Giving everybody their memories back and giving them back magic and everything. And so the mystery that was around it
Yeah.
kind of went,
I seem to remember them playing with a clock in the town or something like that. It just got to be ridiculous.
oh, then they brought Peter Pan in and his shadow was played by Marilyn Manson. They ought to tell you how much garbage that was.
yeah. It's
Skinny or
I
fat Marilyn Manson?
oh my, no, it was
Just
fat
old.
Marilyn Manson. It's a
Just the old
CGI
one.
Marilyn Manson. Well, but like I said, and I didn't want to watch that show to begin with. Somebody drugged me into watching that show, and then
shut up.
you did. However, I did like the first season. All right, and like I said, they messed it up. But
Yeah.
but do you remember? Let me see if I can pull it up because I asked Nita about this the other day, and maybe you would, Jared. You might remember this. I'm not sure. This is a 1987 show.
I was 7.
Yeah, so was I. Congratulations.
So I might.
Do you want a
not
cookie?
really, I don't know.
You want a cookie?
Yeah.
7. Oh my gosh. Look. The Charmings.
I
What?
Do not remember that.
remember that at all. Thank you.
Okay.
I swear, I think he.
Well,
I
that
felt-
must not
I
have
felt-
lasted very long.
I felt
It lasted 2 seasons.
That's
Two
amazing.
2
seasons.
seasons.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't remember that
Fascinating.
part.
That an ABC sitcom must have been. That's what it looks
Telling
like.
you, I'm
Is that
thinking-
Wizards of
like-
Waverly Place?
I think
But
it-
with
I
fairy
think
tales?
like really
Isn't that
early
the department Three's from Three's Company?
Yes, I was just going to
That's what
say
it
that.
looks
Yeah,
like.
Look
that's
at
what
the
it looks like.
So basically, the premise of it was the wicked Wicked
second
Queen.
season.
You know yeah. I can't believe it got a second season. Anyway, but
It's
the
probably
Queen.
a very short second season.
I
Yeah.
can
I
see
can't
the
believe you
drama
remembered it.
in
Yeah,
that
right.
picture.
Like
I
this
don't
is
know
the
why-
shit you block out.
I don't remember why I remember this, but it stood out to me. Anyway, so the Queen. No, I don't remember the premise of it. I actually have just studied this lately. But the Queen here, did what she did to Snow White. Snow White wakes up with the prince, and they throw her down a bottomless well. Well, apparently the bottomless well wasn't bottomless. She hit the bottom and climbed right back out, and ended up trying to put them all to sleep. She tried to put them to sleep. Or kill them or whatever. She just ended up putting them to sleep for 1,000 years, and then they woke up in the future or in the present.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, with
The
a
only
dwarf.
one I know
They
from
may
that is
specify that there
black
was a
dude.
dwarf. Yeah,
Yeah.
from 227.
Paul
That's where I
Winfield.
remember him. Paul Winfield.
Yeah, there was a total of 21 episodes,
Yeah,
according
there
to
you go.
IMDb.
Oh my god, and they put it on DVD.
They put who bought that
Who
shit?
bought that shit?
There's the
Hey, it was
Blu-ray.
the
Someone-
time that
That's what we
everything
wanna
was on
know.
DVD.
This looks like one of those bootleg DVDs that you buy
It
offline.
does.
Yeah.
Like that version of Beauty
That's
and the
from a
Beast we
con.
got.
It's from a Comic Con. You can get that for $5.
Nick, come on, man. You know that's the Circle K parking lot. They even screen the cons better than that now.
Bernie
That's-
Capel was in it, though. Oh, but only one episode. Sorry. He got in, got the hell out. I'm out of
I
here.
like
He
how
just
they even
needed
have
some
a
quick
dwarf.
money.
I got a love boat that I need to catch. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nobody else in this that I
But you brought
recommend.
up You brought up another thing that was a modern reworking of a fairy tale was Beauty and the Beast,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and that was a pretty popular.
Yeah,
Popular
that's
series.
the one we got scammed on buying
Oh,
it
yeah,
on
yeah,
DVD.
yeah.
Oh my god,
I
that
didn't
was
order
the
it on
most,
DVD.
oh my
version.
god, it was the worst burnt. No, it was just all burnt. Like
It was all burnt
like
copies.
chopped copies where you could see the bottom of their computer monitor, like
Oh,
you could see
geez.
their tabs.
This
Oh,
was
it
years
was so
ago.
bad.
Years
Yeah,
ago.
Terrible.
we got it for his mom for Christmas one year, and then it's like, what is this shit?
It's like you can see the Canadian whatever
The
maple
stickers.
leaf at the bottom of their channel.
Was it the Ron
Canada
Perlman?
Pride.
Yeah,
Beauty and the Beast.
it was the Ron Perlman version, but it was like the labels were offset like a quarter of an inch on some
They
of the
drove you
TVs.
at you from the TV. I'm the only person. If it wasn't for the internet, nobody would believe me that existed. I
That
promise you.
wouldn't.
I still
Hey,
don't. I think you
Pops.
made that up in Photoshop.
No, it's in. It's
pretty
on
good at that.
IMDb. It's on IMDb.
I just
have a
can't
list.
You
believe
can.
that.
Anybody can edit
up, Pops?
IMDb.
Yeah, I don't know
Can
if
they?
that's
But
true.
we should try to put a couple of fake shows up there. Then that would be
Right.
hilarious.
I want to try to
We'll
see
test
that.
you on the next episode. Stay
Yeah.
tuned.
Anyway, Beauty and the Beast. So they did a whole modern retelling of that, and I
Right?
don't think that, but I can remember of it wasn't too bad.
CW
I
ran
didn't
one
like the
for
procedural
years.
part of it.
Yeah, but he didn't look like a beast.
Who?
He
looked
had
like
a
a kid.
scar. Yeah.
He
Oh,
looked
I
like
do
a
remember
kitty
that one.
cat.
Oh, speaking of Beast. Pow.
Speaking
Yeah.
of beasts,
Sir.
What's up, people? How you doing?
Hey, JD, go
Whoa.
ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
My name is JD Caldwell. I'm the writer and creator of the Oswald Chronicles and Tall Tales, and I'm a longtime comic book publisher, fan, all that good stuff. Sometimes on Sundays I have a show, sometimes I don't, but it appears. What's up, Randy? How you doing? See, Jared, nice to meet you. Mitch,
You too,
I've been
JD.
seeing you and not knowing you. Nice to meet you.
You
So,
too.
JD, let
And
me ask you a question.
Hello, Nita. I'm sorry.
Oh, she's gone.
You scared her off.
Yeah, I know, as usual. That's fine. So, what's your
Pop-
question, Michael? The answer
Pop
is
says,
no.
no, you're not. So, do you remember a TV show back in 1987 called
God.
Charmings?
Bring
what?
the picture back
The
up.
Charmings. Yeah, I got to put the picture back up. Hold on.
Bring this back up. Oh my god.
I'm old.
I
I'm
kind
like,
of hope he says yes.
what-
I do
what's-
too for Chris's.
If he says
For
yes,
my
him and
sake,
Chris already got
because I
together
feel
and planned
bad.
the show.
Look, I
Wait,
feel
so
bad
what-
that I'm the only one that remembers this show.
What's the name of the show?
the Charming.
The Charmings. Yeah, show me that one.
Mhm.
Was that a cartoon?
No.
Oh,
Worse.
Live action pile.
Nice.
let's see. Let me try to pull the DVD.
It probably could have worked as an animated sitcom. Maybe.
Hold on, I
Cartoon
gotta-
Network. Or
How
People
bad-
keep
I mean-
putting Once Upon a Time and putting Charmings over it. Hold on.
Yeesh.
So, what did you think about Once Upon a Time? Did you watch that one?
I watched, I think, the first few seasons. Then I just stopped at some point. It just got a little too much.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
yeah.
I think that's about everybody. Jared hated
Yeah,
it.
that was the general consensus.
I hate
I mean,
it.
look,
I just didn't care for it.
Go read Fables by Bill Willingham.
Yeah, good
That's
stuff,
what
yeah.
that's what Mitch said.
Yeah, go read
Uh,
Fables. You want it. You want that stuff. You want it good and done right. Go read Fables.
So I apologize to the audience who has to see this again.
Oh,
So the premise is, of course, the step queen basically puts them all to sleep accidentally for 1,000, 2,000, however many years, and they wake up in the present day. And this was a sitcom. This is basically your this guy right here was the man in the mirror.
all right. Well, you can take that down.
you used a clip of that from your opening. Didn't
I
you?
did. I sure
Yeah.
did.
Listen, look, I was very young in '87, but I had taste.
Oh, burn, bitch.
I like this guy already. He speaks my language.
I'm sorry, Mitch. I've never seen.
was-
Honestly, I know nothing about it. So,
Well, no, I'm saying I'm the only one that remembers this show.
Oh.
But
Because that was
Chris
probably
has the boot-
something
Chris has
your
the
mother
bootleg.
put on and you were forced to watch it.
that's
Right.
possible. Well, yeah, well,
So now, Chris, you gotta watch this. You're
1987.
gonna like it.
I mean, I can tell you all about
I'm sure.
Days of Our
I'm
Lives
pretty
and
sure it
William
was on
Weston.
network television because I didn't have cable growing up.
Oh yeah, like
So-
Randy said, it's obviously ABC.
Yeah,
right.
It sure looks like it. Yeah.
probably right after Disney bought them.
And that set is from something.
I'm sure it got used. They wouldn't. Why throw away a perfectly good set? You can get rid of the cast.
after listen, you just might as well pull up the Croft Superstars now. You know,
The what?
does anybody? You don't even know what that is. See, that's
No!
how all that is.
What is it?
The Croft Superstars.
Is that the
Sigmund
one
and the
called
Sea
the-
Monsters.
They had
Is that
their
the one
own
called the
show
basketball
there
player?
for a
Yeah.
season or two. Yeah.
Mhm. The Boogaloos.
Bugaloos.
Oh,
yeah.
I feel like I should turn my pop culture card in because I haven't heard of any.
Yeah,
of this.
right.
It's old, man.
Oh,
It's old. This is
wow.
from the 70s.
Far out
we were
spaces.
talking about
Oh.
that Sunday, I think, weren't we?
H&R Puffin stuff.
Yes,
HR.
HR.
I
I
remember
know about
that.
that. I know
Yeah,
about
HR
that
puffin
because
stuff.
of my mom.
That's with the little magical flute. I don't know. It looked really creepy. I don't know.
You're
It sounded really
absolutely right.
strange.
I would have no idea. I am not that old.
I'm
Drugs
not
were a lot
either.
purer
I'm not
back
either,
then.
but it's
Considering
like,
I was 7 in
oh, like
'87, yeah, that's a little old for me. So.
But I know the H&R Puffin stuff because I remember like finding
Syndication.
somebody had it on VHS somehow or whatever, and we ended up like tripping on acid, and they're like, "Hey, you got to watch this." Not
That-
cool.
On
I think I
acid,
was
Not
older.
cool.
Nickelodeon made some
to a
high,
7-year-old.
some really high ratings there when they would show entire marathons at night, and all the kids would get altered and sit and watch it. I recorded a couple of VHS tapes for the daughter off of that. Yeah.
Real high ratings, I'm sure.
While she's watching it and tripping.
No, she wasn't
No.
tripping while she was.
No,
I
no.
just showed it to her to stretch her imagination because it was some pretty weird shit.
It stretched my
Lidsville,
fucking imagination.
Lidsville. Remember Lidsville? All the talking hats. That was amazing. You know, the
And this
Croft
is what
brothers were
fairy
sitting
tales
around
ended up
enjoying some wonderful recreational drugs and coming up.
Oh,
You know, man, what they need? There's a kid with
That's
like
exactly what
magic
Alan
suit,
Moore
You
did
know,
with his daughter.
big
too.
lizard character. Call
You know,
him Puff
you-
and stuff.
you-
It'll be great.
You say that, you would think that would be the case, but you look at somebody like Frank Zappa who didn't do drugs, and then you kind of go, yeah, maybe drugs are kind of
'Cause he didn't need it.
Try drugs, kids.
His brain was already fried from the womb. So
Right. I mean, do you really believe that?
Do
You
I
sit
really
there.
believe
You
that?
sit
Who
there and
knows?
watch an episode of HR Puffin stuff, and an episode of Bugaloos, and an episode of Lidsville, and tell me they weren't on drugs.
And Sigmund of the Sea Monsters. I mean, yeah.
Sigmund was a
Yes.
little weird, but you could see Sigmund. It's a regular kid and a guy in a puffy suit that was running around.
Mhm.
That wasn't like the Bugaloos or a bunch of little bee characters running
Yeah.
around in Happy Bee Land or Lidsville with all of the crazy little hats that we're talking.
happy Bee-land, everybody.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Well, the girl on there was.
But then we're
was-
also talking about a time where mushrooms and marijuana weren't considered bad drugs.
yes.
So yeah, they're like, "Are you on drugs?" Nah, bro, I don't do
The
cocaine.
girl on the
Reefer,
Bugaloos was
Reefer
part of-
Madness came out in the 30s.
Was
okay?
part of
Yeah.
my hormonal youth, so don't be careful.
Drugs is bad. Okay?
She was hot.
Yeah, talk about fairy tales, reefer madness.
For men. That's classic.
You know
right
why
there.
those monkeys died? Because they suffocated from the smoke. Okay,
Right.
they weren't high.
Y'all have completely lost me. I don't know what
I'm
the hell
sorry.
y'all. I don't know what drugs y'all are on.
Reefer
I'm
madness.
sorry. I derailed the
Life.
conversation. What were you guys talking about?
Fairy
Drugs.
tales,
Fairy tales.
Fairy tales? Gotcha.
trying drugs.
You're
Uh,
talking
no, what
about
we were
Tinker
saying-
Bell's ass. Yeah. anyway.
So we were talking about Once Upon a Time, and Jared hates it, and I was like, so what about the first season, right? So the first season can't be.
So that's
The
how
first
that
season
feels,
wasn't that
Chris.
bad.
You enjoy
Yeah.
that, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
That's why
You
he's
do that to
bringing
me.
it up.
You do that shit to me all the time. Yeah, I enjoy
Some
it.
shows
hate
deserve
everything.
only
You
one
hate everything.
season. You know.
No, what they did, I think they made a mistake on that show when they brought the magic back.
Yeah.
It was like when they brought magic back and they flooded it and everything. So
Well, because bringing magic back took the mystery out of it, and then it was just from that point, it was just all downhill from there.
Nita, I was wondering what you were doing.
I'm playing my tits because she's black.
I thought you were petting a giant roach.
She's
Oh.
lost.
Oh, it's so cute. Look at that.
That's,
Yeah,
that's
Daphne
the HR
said-
department.
Yeah, Daphne says she looks like a wombat.
Yeah. I mean,
anyway,
yeah.
let's-
did
back
you guys
to it, I'm
talk
sorry.
about the Huntsman? Or what was that thing? The Huntsman? Remember that
Snow
movie?
White and the Huntsman.
Didn't you
Yeah.
say you had taste?
Wow.
Wow.
I actually do like watching shitty movies, though.
Oh yeah.
okay, look.
Fair
Before we
point,
get into
fair
that,
point. I do too.
Before we get into that, let me go ahead and run a couple of bumps, and we'll do the whole break thing, so y'all can get in your corners and get some water or whatever when we come back. We'll be right back.
Infamous gunslinger Desmond Gibbons, better known across the Wild West as the Cactus Kid, comes to the sleepy town of Clarkson. Trouble finds him in the unlikeliest of sources, the sheriff. After their conflict, the Cactus Kid finds himself inexplicably wearing the badge of a lawman. Later, while on the trail of a serial killer, he and his deputy run afoul of a powerful druid, and the events that lead to the Cactus Kid's transformation into the hulking, four-armed projectile reptile are even more than the druid bargained for. From the Wild West to current-day Los Angeles, where he meets superheroes Black Eagle and Red Hawk, and forms an uneasy alliance with the stunning but deadly Kitty Hawk. Join the projectile reptile on a journey of gunslinging druidic magic, superheroes, and artifacts. Projectile Reptile from Dojo Kun Comics, only on Indiegogo. Are you ready for the truly Wild West?
Your favorite podcast, it's Critical Blast.
Because getting your comics in mint condition shouldn't be a fairy tale, you should use Gemini mailers. And while you're over there getting those Gemini mailers, save 5% on your next Gemini mailer order by using the coupon code RAGIN2. And speaking of RAGIN2, if we have offended you, said anything ugly, or if you just like to say mean stuff to us, you can always email us at raginabc@gmail.com. There's no such thing as a dumb question, but of course our answers might be. And with that, all right. JD.
Aren't we just here to like insult everybody and offend them? I mean, why else are we here?
Well, how are we going to get letters if we don't? That's how we get letters. That's how we know somebody's
Steve.
watching. So I had asked them at the beginning of the show what they thought was the most influential fairy tale that there's been, and so I extend the question to you.
I can't say the most influential fairy tale for everyone. I can say for me.
Well, I mean, what you see normally,
right? Damn, it's so. I guess it's such a pat answer. It's something like Cinderella. Right, like these are the ones that are like in the social consciousness of like just all of us. Like you don't even like here's a name I'm gonna throw out, and I know nothing about this person. Justin Bieber. How the fuck do I even know his name? I don't know. I don't listen to his music.
Wait, Justice Beaver.
Right. Justice Beaver.
Yeah, right.
So I don't listen to his music. I don't care anything for the guy. I don't know him. I don't know anything about him, but I know his fucking name. Same thing with Cinderella, right? It's like you know things about it. There's a human somewhere out there. Something. She had a glass slipper or whatever. The sister's feet
or fur.
Right, the sister's feet got nailed down or something like that. Crazy, right?
Sliced off, right? Yep.
Right, sawed off. There you go. That's the other one. So. But I, something like Cinderella, the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, you hear stuff like that. Those are the things that are like, I think, in just so ingrained in us. You don't even need to read the story; you just know about them. I've read the Grimm's fairy tales, but I'm just saying. For me, those I guess.
So you've read it, right? Rumpelstiltskin, hero or villain?
I wouldn't say a hero, but I'd say he built it.
Anti-villain.
Asshole
or anti-hero.
Anti-hero.
Okay. So why do you say he's an asshole?
Well, look, he sees the girl, she's in trouble, right? He's like, how can I, and he knows what he can do, right? Does he decide to like maybe remove her from the situation, right? No. He's like, no, I'm going to take advantage of you because I have this power to take advantage of you, and that's what he does. He takes advantage of the poor girl, right?
But it was her father in the first place.
Yeah, it was her father that put her there.
We don't know what would have happened if he got her out of the situation. Would the king have hunted her down and
But he did. But why should he get out of it for free?
But the thing is,
it's called having a job.
And she offered him the baby, so.
Well, the thing is, like, just because one person is being an asshole doesn't mean you have to be an asshole too. Right?
But if you can make some money out of it,
This isn't social media.
I just think the imp got a bad rep, okay? And he didn't want to hurt the kid. He just wanted the kid because he was short and he knew he was getting up there in age and he needed somebody to reach the flower from the top shelf.
Clock's a ticking. It's time for me to have a baby.
So he could spin hay into gold or straw into gold, but he can't reach the fucking third shelf.
Look, don't argue with me.
They couldn't hire somebody to
logic.
That's what the baby's for. There you go, baby.
He could have just paid somebody off to do it.
Yeah, y'all.
From I'm gathering, that baby might have been better off. That's all I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. Her grandfather was shit. Her daddy threatened to kill her mom. I mean, where else? Her mom traded her to an imp. Okay, yeah, the baby was better off with the fucking imp.
So, what's the most influential to you, JD?
Influential what?
Fairy tale.
I just mentioned it, like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, probably. You know, I think. I mean, but the thing is, I don't really. It's been such a long time since I've even delved into it, right? So yeah, probably something like Snow White. You know, either that or maybe Hansel and Gretel, because I think actually that one's the more interesting one. You know, the brother and sister team throwing the witch in the oven. I think that's where
growing up, becoming witch hunters. Absolutely,
right?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's a fun movie.
It was. It is. It really is. Is it a great movie? Is it a great movie? Yes, for all the right reasons.
Is it a great movie?
Yeah,
no.
It's not.
There's a difference between good, and fun, and that's a fun movie.
That's a fun movie.
Pleasure movie.
Yes.
Oh
yes.
my gosh.
Go watch 47 Ronin. There you go. And I'm talking about the Keanu Reeves one. You know, go watch what was it? The Seventh Son? Oof. Oh man.
Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges.
You are the seventh son of the seventh son of the seventh son.
That's like what? The Sorcerer's Apprentice with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, it's just chewing up dialogue as he runs through that movie. It was terrible and glorious all at the same time.
But we would all watch it if it was on right now. We were flipping, you know.
Yeah. I mean, well, I got it. Listen, I got it on Blu-ray, so
there you go.
Look at you all classy. We were just arguing DVDs.
No.
I'm waiting for that Charming's Blu-ray.
Right. Seasons 1 and 2 in one volume.
Oh, there you go.
I put it
Charming's fan. Sorry,
I don't know about
offend.
Offend who?
The Charming's fan.
Pops.
Oh, Pops.
The one Charming's fan.
The one Charming. Sorry, Pops. I mean, you know.
Pops.
He's all right. He's okay.
Yeah. So what fairy tale property did they make that they did right?
Did who make?
Anybody.
What
Jim
out
Henson,
there?
The storyteller. The storyteller was beautiful.
Yes, she's right. And I mean, in both ones, I mean, the Greek one that he did was incredible, and the regular one.
Yeah.
And the thing is that the guy who wrote that, he wrote all of them, and he was like an award-winning writer. I think he wrote some famous movie. He wrote a famous movie, and he won like an Oscar for it. But yeah, he died. I think in 2002 or something.
Yeah, that's the closest to accurate to Grimm's and Greek fables, and But
what about that banger Brothers Grimm?
Which one?
Oh,
that told their life story.
With Heath Ledger. Yeah,
that was a banger, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was 100% true.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that one was terrible.
That's how they
I think
became
Wikipedia
librarians.
even wrote the movie itself.
Mm-hmm.
They became librarians.
What's
happened is that's a Terry Gilliam movie, and that's really not what's
really. Huh.
Yeah.
Which one? What's a Terry Gilliam movie?
The Brother Grimm.
Oh, is that the one?
Oh,
that was a Terry Gilliam movie because that movie was terrible.
Which one?
Pretty sure.
Yeah, I didn't finish it.
Okay, because
JD was talking about Anthony Minghella.
Is that him?
Script and continuity developer for Storyteller. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Terry
look-
Gilliam did it.
Son of Immigrants, Italy.
Yeah, Terry Gilliam wrote or directed it.
Wow,
Aaron
that's-
Kruger
yeah.
wrote it.
Wow, because I mean, I'm a fan of Brazil.
Monica Bellucci.
Oh well, there you go. Was it? I like Brazil and was it Time Bandits?
Brazil is a work
Yeah.
of art.
Brazil was.
12
was it-
Monkeys.
Oh yeah, they're
Well,
remaking
monkeys.
Time Bandits because Time
Are
Bandits
they-
wasn't good enough.
Yeah, good
They're
luck.
Taika Waititi's doing it.
Oh,
Again,
God.
It's
good
like,
luck.
okay, it's time. I think somebody's extending their thing.
Yeah, this guy left Storytellers and wrote The English Patient in '96.
Yeah, I remember that movie.
Storyteller.
Brothers Grimm
Before
was
that,
funny
he
as
had
hell.
done a lot of
I mean,
TV stuff, a lot of
You're
plays.
talking about. Oh, I'm sorry, Randy.
I'm sorry. I'm probably getting off topic. Go ahead.
No.
Like you with fairy tales, like finding a movie that would be accurate outside, or a production that would be accurate outside of the storyteller is hard to do, because you're talking entire
that's-
stories told in 2 pages, 5 to 6 paragraphs.
But I'm not
Most
talking
of the
about
time.
accurate. I'm asking you what
The be-
did it
the best
portray? The best one. Use that as a source material.
The storyteller.
Yeah, she's right.
What? Not Snow White, Tale of Terror.
No, fuck.
Nobody wants to talk about Snow White, Tale of Terror. What?
I'm gonna pretend like I don't even know what that is.
Seriously, where'd you find that?
Is that the one
That's
with Sigourney Weaver?
Sigourney Weaver, Sam Neill, and so,
Okay.
yeah.
No.
You've never seen this?
No.
What?
Nope.
Oh my gosh! Don't let Nita fool you. She liked it when we saw it.
Was she high?
When am I not high? But I did not like.
Oh, she was sober then. Okay, makes sense.
That's why she didn't like it.
Probably.
I'm trying to think. There was one I can just vaguely remember it. It was basically a Little Red Riding Hood story. Oh shit! And it was good. It's not Into the Woods, but for some reason that's what.
A Company of Wolves.
Oh, Tale of Tales. There you
Company
go.
of Wolves. That one was great.
Yeah, it was a very bizarre movie, but yeah, it was very good.
Yeah.
The Tale of Tale. Oh yeah, with Salma Hayek. Yeah. That was. It was interesting. It was a little boring though. I liked it, but it was a little.
It was
boring.
interesting. A little boring. I liked it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I look at it. If I could just get a little smidge out of it that I enjoy. It's why I like crappy movies. I fill in the holes in the plot. And, I
In
rethink.
your head, it's better than it actually is.
Right.
Well, the Disney version of Beauty and the Beast was really good. It had a great life lesson. If you're even if you're a drooling, snarling beast, if you're rich, you can get a hot girl.
Yeah,
That's
there you
white privilege.
Mhm.
No, that's something else. I'm sorry.
That's furry privilege.
Hold on. Let me run this.
Uh-oh.
It's okay because I'm white.
Really, the only thing I pulled from Beauty and the Beast was that Stockholm Syndrome was a thing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, Beauty and the Beast. That wasn't the Grimms though. That was a French
It was
tale.
a French one.
Yeah, that was told later on.
Yeah, the Disney version is an almost
What?
bastardization, but almost also a direct ripoff of what was his name? The director. He was a French director.
I'm having fun
Truffaut?
reading this.
Jacques.
Francois Truffaut.
Crap! What was his name?
The real lesson of Beauty and the Beast.
Has she host with me?
Man.
Didn't that
What was his name? I
so much
can't-
hotter until he became human?
Hold
What
on.
were you gonna play?
Me?
He must not have been a famous French director.
Yeah, he is. He did a lot of movies, but for some reason, it's not coming up on Wikipedia. Oh, Jean Cocteau, that was his name. Yeah, because like the main character was named Belle. They had like magical objects around the castle. There was a hunter named Gaston in it. I mean, it was almost. It wasn't a shot for shot ripoff, but a lot of it was exactly the same.
Well, they're saying that about a lot of the Disney material. You
Disney
go back
never
and you can find
stole
the
anything.
derivative of whatever. Really?
This
Okay.
this is the
You know
same
what?
guy. This is the same guy that had a whole bunch of people, historians, come out there to talk about the plantation life and slave life during the same time as Song of the South, and say, whatever you do, don't make them look happy. First scene in Song of the South, they're freaking whistling through there. So
Is that the problem? Is because they look happy?
Yeah, that's right. He didn't give a damn. Disney did whatever hell he wanted to.
Right.
Trade him.
Mm-hmm.
And his empire kept doing it too, because I mean,
Well, you have to remember the
Lion King
context
came
that-
out. I mean, Lion King is a straight up ripoff from Kimba.
Yeah.
It is not.
You cannot-
It is not. It is not, and I will show you the
Kimba's-
video. No, yeah, I will show
Oh,
you.
you're gonna show me?
I can
Okay.
show you the video to prove to you that is not true. In fact,
That's like
in fact,
Avatar is Fern Gully, the last rainforest.
Yeah, well, no, it's Pocahontas. Look, it's
And Pocahontas.
But back to the Kimba thing. In fact, the scenes that you see of Kimba came out later than what you saw
Oh,
in Lion
really?
King. Yes. If anything, Kimba ripped off those scenes from Lion King. Kimba existed, but it was not the same story. No, because my daughter handed me my ass when I said that. That's why I was so no.
Wow, yes, she does do that.
She does do that. It's like,
If
oh,
that,
Yeah, I'm
kid,
at
if that
school
kid comes
right
to
now.
you with a fact, you just back off.
Probably something she read on the internet.
no, it's a YouTube
That must be
video.
true then.
Oh, YouTube channel. Of course, it must be
Yeah.
real.
Yeah, it
Y'all
must be
know-
true.
I know y'all are giving me some shit about a YouTube channel. As much shit as y'all bring to me about YouTube, what you seen on YouTube, please.
Hey, man, everything we say right now is true.
Because it's on YouTube.
Because it's on YouTube, definitely.
So Kimba was not a ripoff,
Hey.
and it was. So fuck you.
You brought us the fucking Charmings. We can definitely put them if we're watching YouTube videos.
You're
Jesus
gonna
Christ.
suffer it twice.
Yeah.
So I mean, so here's something. So we're talking about TV and movies, right? Now comic books, right? 'Cause that's my thing, right? Don't.
I'm sorry.
Listen, man. You know.
How dare you?
No. But I mean,
Comics.
it's comic. I don't know. Jesus. So I mean, what's the best adaptation in comics that you might have seen of fairy tales, right?
Fables.
I mean,
Classics Illustrated.
no, Classics Illustrated.
Well, not as blatant as Fables is, because obviously that's based off, fairy tales. But I think he means like an actual comic story.
Oh, adaptation. Straight adaptation.
Well, then it would be probably Classics Illustrated, because I don't think in recent memory I can't think of anything being like straight adaptations. I've only seen people taking doing pistache stories.
And mostly
Craig Russell
now.
did a few fairy tales I know of.
Mm-hmm.
Adapted them. He's
Oh
been,
yes,
yeah. He's done a lot of like
I
myths
can't
and
think of any.
folklore.
He did all the Wagner operas as well.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Very beautiful stuff.
All right, so we're stuck at Fables. Fuck it, there it is.
Fables. Yep.
Well, I
Fables.
mean, unless you want to go with those sexy Grimm's fairy tale covers that you always see everywhere, but nobody reads the damn things.
You mean Zenoscope?
Is it
That's
Zenoscope?
because
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
I won't. That's my opinion. So.
Yeah.
The wife. I'll say this: the wife likes them, even though
No.
they have big tittied women in them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
The wife still
Zenoscope
reads
says
them.
they have a huge female following.
Yeah.
They're a very large following of female readers.
I'm sorry, off topic, but all I remember is walking through Motor City and looking up and going, "Yeah, there's a camel toe."
Nice. Hey, listen, I remember walking through Boston. I'll be like, "Wow, these guys hit the strip clubs to get these booth babes."
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh yeah,
Apparently, Zenoscope Entertainment has a dark fantasy comic book series called Grimm Fairy Tales.
Yes,
there you go.
Came out in 2005.
that's what I heard.
Mhm.
I think there were books at Ollie's.
I didn't know that. It's pretty cool.
Ollie's
You look
needs
hard
to
to know.
sponsor us.
All the times we drop them.
I keep telling you
Proper
to get
names.
that sponsorship for Amazon. I'll do episodes.
There you go.
I just picked up a couple of great books the other day. So from them.
But, so they're not.
Yeah.
If you're picking that up from Ollie's, then they're not selling very well, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's overstock.
No, it's overruns. When you get stuff printed in overseas,
Called back issues.
the difference between 5,000 and 10,000 is a very, very small. Your per unit cost drops straight through the floor, but you do have to store the other, 5,000 or 6,000 or so that you didn't sell through Diamond. You do have to put them in a warehouse, and all of those eventually, if you can't blow them out, which they tried to do, end up getting blown out through the end run stores.
So I look up Grimm's Fairy Tales comic books, and what comes up is Return to Wonderland, Tales from Wonderland, Neverland, The Jungle Book, Robin Hood,
Nothing
Tales
Grimm.
from Oz. Here we go.
All classic tales from the Grimm brothers. All of them.
All of them. Yeah.
Yes. All of it.
Well, I can't wait until Cthulhu invades the jungle. That's what I'm waiting for.
That's gonna be a banger.
The Jungle or
JD's
the
next
Jungle
favorite
Book?
movie.
Probably
The Jungle Book. Yeah, the Jungle Book.
Cthulhu invading the jungle might be actually a very interesting tale.
I'd watch it.
Anyway,
Oh my gosh.
that would be a
Next
great
on
film.
Sci-Fi.
Yeah. Oh, anyway.
A lot of gore, a lot of blood, a lot of meat hooks. Be great.
Yummy.
Mhm.
So you think that we're just going to keep? So, are we going to just keep seeing fairy tales recycle like this? Are we going to
Always.
see
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
always?
It's it's out there. It's public domain. No different than Cthulhu. It's
Yep.
it's just grist for the mill. I mean, look, people have fun with it. And that's basically what you should do with it. You just have fun with it.
It's always going to
recreate
be
it.
exploited. Yeah.
Just have
Always.
fun with it. And I mean, what else? What else are you gonna do with it? Because
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like the instant. I don't say it was a great movie. I enjoyed it. I don't think it was fantastically written, but I thought it was a great movie because I thought it was fun. I get bored easily now, but Hansel and Gretel. I like if anything, the weapons, the
Yeah.
different types of witches.
It's a silly
Uh-huh.
popcorn movie. It's
It
worth
is,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's a brain check film. Absolutely.
It's a dumb action movie. Those are always
It's like watching Sword
Yeah.
and Sorcerer.
And it really wasn't as
Crawl.
bad as I've
Yeah.
seen some other ones be.
Yeah.
So,
The budget
Yeah,
on it was really good. Yeah, the effects work I remember being pretty well.
I mean, it's not a Star War, so
No,
what are you
but
gonna do?
Star Wars isn't even Star Wars anymore. So hey,
Yeah, there was a god awful Little Red Riding Hood movie with Amanda Seyfried about 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
I never saw it. I saw the cover of it.
Even Amanda Seyfried in a corset with a low cut shirt
Couldn't save that movie. There was a couple good pause scenes, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Every time I see her though, I think Mean Girls, so I can't take her seriously.
I think Gollum.
Hey,
Oh.
after you've seen the Linda Lovelace movie that she starred in, you really can't take her seriously.
Someone had to do it. Lindsay Lohan dropped out of it, so someone had to do it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because when she finally started letting herself out, no one wanted to see her. So that's
I'm
my
lost.
opinion, not the opinion of Ragin 2. Just let you know.
It's in the show notes. We're good.
yeah.
So, does
Another
anybody have
classic
anything
Grimm
else to
fairy
say,
tale.
or anything we might be leaving out?
Oh, I'm sure there's a bunch we're leaving out.
Oh, there's so much. I mean,
Yeah.
shit. The Brothers Grimm had what 100 plus comp.
Yeah, but they don't make the cut, do they? They're not a Disney movie. So,
Oh wow! Did you just say that?
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show
If
you.
Disney didn't make a movie, it's not a real fairy tale.
That's
Oh my
right.
Gosh.
I'm sure they've thought about rebooting the Charmings at one point or another, especially if they own it.
This fall on Disney Plus.
But it's interesting though. Is when
Hell,
we
it might
talk
be
about-
on Disney Plus for all we know.
Mhm.
I'm gonna have to look, but I doubt it.
All 21 episodes.
Coming next summer, the mouse, the bird, and the sausage.
But this is
Mickey, as you've never seen him before.
But this goes to show you. I am kind of curious as to what stands out to people outside of this country, because here's a statue. I I can't remember where it is, but the musicians of Bremen that we were talking about earlier, the donkey, the dog, the cat, and the
Rooster.
the rooster.
The cock.
And
The cock.
yeah, and I mean we have our Alice in Wonderland statues, our Cinderella statues, Snow White, and everything. So I kind of wonder what stories stand out.
You think the Croft brothers
Outside of
were
here.
on drugs? I wonder who designed that statue. Yeah. Dude, what we need
It's a work of art.
dog on a unicorn. And put 'em
It's
all
beautiful.
That's a donkey.
It's a donkey.
together. Donkey. Is that a donkey? It looks like a unicorn.
It does look like a unicorn from
That's
this.
its ear.
Turn that into it. Turn that into an ear.
That's an ear.
There you go. There, it still looks like a unicorn from that angle.
It
That's
does.
Thieves Jungle Gym to me.
Do they only have profile pics of this? Nobody took a head-on shot.
Nobody wants a head-on shot.
You wouldn't recognize it if it was head on. You'd be like, what
Yeah.
the fuck is
What
that?
the hell is this?
Yeah, no.
Nope.
There is none.
Here's a worm's eye view. Here's a
There's
first
a
eye
three-quarter
view. Here's a
view.
reverse
There's a
view.
Here's the
Quarter
left
view.
side.
Oh, there, yeah, there's a
Here's the
three-quarter
right
there.
side.
But it's like nobody
there's a
wants.
I don't like the
Quarter
way that donkey's smiling.
You know what? That's the thing.
He's an ass.
It's one of
bro.
those. It's
an
one of
ass.
those cursed statues. If you stare it in the eyes, it will curse you. So
Is it really?
I don't
believe it.
No.
Just
Oh,
the donkey
All
one.
of a sudden, the rooster's head
Don't
moves.
stare into the eyes of the cock. Yeah.
It's
He
gonna.
looks very sad.
It'll haunt you, but not because it's cursed. But let's see. Yes, fairy tales will be rehashed and retold for all time. Fairy tales, like the great heroic epic, are about human interaction and behavior, mean to educate people regardless of time or history. I just wonder how many times we're going to lambast them and run them through the. Or who knows? Maybe we'll actually see somebody want to get down to it and make an actual fairy tale. You know.
Oh my god! I just had a porn comic pop in my head.
There we go.
Nice.
That's why she had to get off camera.
All right. So anyway, let's go down the line.
So look, go look at Wally Wood and
Sally Forth.
there you go. Well, just remember the poster with his Disney poster.
Oh yeah, that's a
Yeah,
classic.
Stories
That's
and
a
parables
classic.
of Bible meant to educate.
Right.
We'd get into so much trouble showing that on YouTube.
No, you don't want to show that.
No, we don't want to show that.
I had to write that down.
It is a classic, though. Look it up, Wally Wood Disney. That's all you got to do. But you probably need to Bing it over top of Google. Google probably has it censored by this
I'm
point.
sure.
No search results found. Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway,
So anyway, last one in. Go ahead and let us know where we can find you, JD.
Oh, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, DeviantArt, Twitter, all under JD Calderon. You can find me under the Oswald Chronicles, which is currently on Kickstarter, so you can go check that out.
In the show notes.
In the show notes, there you go. And then there's Daphne, my wife. She has Tall Tales running on in the show notes, running right now on Kickstarter as well. So thank you, everybody.
And her sign up for Ego Raven in the show
Yes,
notes.
in the show notes. Go sign up for Ego Raven as well. Yes, you're busy.
Jarrett, let them know where you can find you, man.
I am on Facebook, Jared Lockhart 80 if you're interested. I'm on Twitter, but I don't know it. I don't ever get on Twitter.
Neither do I.
Same thing with Instagram. I don't know it, but I'm on it. Look up my name. I'm there. I don't know. Good looking guy. I don't know. That's all I got.
All right, Mitch.
Hi, I'm Mitch Rogers again. Just look me up on Linktree/Celtic Cross Studios. There you find my social media, my website, my online comics, everything. You might find me
Nina,
on there too.
do you want to tell people where to find you? or not?
Creating Chaos 24/7 on all social media except for Twitter at C_Chaos 247 and anywhere under the Ragin 2 banner.
Right, Randy.
you can find me on Facebook if you really want to find. You can find me as Randy Zim on Twitter. You can write to me at thezimcast@gmail.com. Thezimcast@gmail.com. You can see me tomorrow night here on the Ragin 2 Network as I do the Zimcast on Wednesday nights where we talk about comics in a more of an opinionated light. Or you can catch me Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. also on the Ragin 2 Network for the Sunday Funnies, where we try to talk about comics and genre-related stuff with a more positive and happy note, we like to talk about our passions on that show and the stuff that we love about this industry that we love so very much. So it's Sunday Funnies at 9 a.m. at the Ragin 2 YouTube channel.
All right. And I'm C Michael Lanning. Of course, my links are all in the show notes. And wishing you a good night. We hope that maybe we helped you think a little bit outside the box next time you create something. So here's our word for the week, and good night.
Take care.
Good night, everybody.
Tonight on Night.
Now here's a good show.
We got a white Bronco heading east into the forest, requesting backup.
It's time for the men in steel to teach these madcap mammals their devil-may mare attitudes just won't fly.
Let me go. Police brutality! Police brutality! Come on! I have to talk to Princess Fiona! Ow!
Will they get away with it, or did someone let the cat out of the bag?
You capitalist big guy!
Catnip.
That's no mine.
Hold on, I'm Princess Fiona! I'm a donkey! Tell her, Shrek, I'm her husband, Shrek! Ow! Ow!
Nice.